Hi guys, I'm Danny West, and you're back with another episode of the Soapbox, your patient education station. And today we are continuing our conversation about physio first aid. So little tips and tricks that you can use if you, say, tweak a certain part of your body. Today we're talking about the low back, and this is a big one. Because 9 times out of 10, you've probably tweaked your low back at some point. So it's quite common. I see low back issues a lot. It's usually, again, related to the hip or the T-spine, so check out those soapboxes as well. But I'm going to keep it really simple today. A lot can kind of happen with the back. And again, this isn't meant to be used in lieu of going to see someone. This is just to kind of tie you over while you're waiting to get in for an assessment. So it's a really simple way of kind of self-assessing your back, keeping some motion going, right? Because motion is lotion. And just in a gentle and safe way. So say you like sleep wrong or you bend over and you're like, ooh, I feel something, that can't be good, and you kind of are sore in through the low back. So here's an easy self-assessment you can do to kind of pick what we call in the physio biz as your directional preference, okay? And whatever your directional preference is, whatever your back likes, you're going to put that on repeat and do that over and over and over again. So here's a little quick example of a low back range of motion assessment. And you can do this on yourself and just go really slow and just kind of see what you notice. So you would come to stand, and we're going to check what's called lumbar flexion. So again, you're just going to bend forward. Just kind of notice what you feel along the way, and then you're going to roll right back up. And you might notice like, ooh, it hurts at the beginning, but then once I get going, it's pretty good. Or when you're coming up, you might notice, ooh, that's when I really feel it. Okay, so just make a mental note of that. The second test is extension. So you're going to put hands on the upper butt just to protect the low back, and you're going to lean back. And you might want to try a couple of those and just see, maybe that one's not so bad. Maybe you actually like extension more than flexion. The third little test is side flexion. So you're going to bend to the side and kind of notice on yourself how far you can slide your hand down to your knee. And then we're going to do the other side and back up. And if you're like, okay, those weren't so bad. Okay, to the right, pretty good, maybe a little twinge, or you go way less to the left. Again, just make a little mental note. And the last test I like to do is called the BEYONCE test. It's very official, okay? And I actually renamed this. This was a test I learned from, again, Dr. Urson Religioso. He's out of the States, so thank you, Urson, for this one. But I just call it, like, in my chart notes, it'll be called, like, the L-spine load test. Or for patients, I'm like, let's check the BEYONCE test. So you're going to have the hands on the hips. You're going to BEYONCE your hips to one way and BEYONCE your hips to the other way. And again, just notice, is it easier for me to go to the right or to the left? Or I like to do this in the mirror, and if it's like feels pretty even, I go, okay, do I go more to the right or to the left? And do you see I get way more range this way than I do this way? Okay, so for my back, it's sticky going to the left. So based on all those little tests, okay, I liked extension the best. So then you would do these repeated extensions, sets of 10 on the hour, okay? So every time you can give the back some movement that it likes, it's like you're hitting the reset button on your low back. Okay? And you would avoid the things that kind of twinged it. Say maybe bending forward and coming back up. We're just going to lay low and avoid that maybe for the next week. So again, you're going to do some supported back extensions, sets of 10. Now for the BEYONCE test, okay, it didn't go as far this way. It was a little sticky, but it felt okay. It just felt a little stuck. So if I'm stuck going left, I'm going to do left hip dips on the wall. So I'd find a wall, keep it super simple, left hand on the wall, right hand on the hip, and I'm going to dip my hips to the left, and I'm going to do a set of 10, And don't overthink this, okay? Like it's wherever the hand feels comfortable. I'm basically making a big C curve with the body, keeping the shoulders and the hips straight on. And again, if it's a little sore at first, maybe just start small, but then see if you can work your way up to bigger dips. So I'm just gonna do one more here. Then you retest. So I'm gonna retest my Beyonce to the right, to the left, and do you notice I get way farther now to the left, and it feels much better. So just kind of freed up that range of motion in the low back in a really gentle way. And honestly, I use that Beyonce test all the time. The neat thing is too, if you retested your range of motion, flexion, extension, even side bending, it can actually free up those motions just from doing a set of hip dips. So I love it. It's super simple for patients to kind of understand. If you're a physio watching, you're like, hey, but what are the osteokinematics? What's actually happening at the spine? Really keep it simple. So whatever the back likes, keep doing. Whatever the back doesn't like, avoid for now. We eventually want to reintroduce those movements that it didn't like, but that's when you can kind of be guided by a health practitioner to know when is it time to add those movements back in. But for now, that's a really quick and easy way to do a self-test on your range of motion, stick to the motions it likes, and do those on repeat. Motion is lotion, once an hour. And then you can also do your Beyonce test. And whichever way is sticky, you hip dip against a wall to that side 10 times, okay? So that's my quick and dirty kind of low back physio first aid. If you were watching some of my other videos, you'll notice like I also had or used cups in some of the other videos. You can also cup along the low back, just on either side, and or up the center of your spine. It's a really easy self-massage tool. It's not meant to replace an assessment, but just to tie you over until you get to see someone. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Keep going and Beyonceing all over the place, and hopefully we will give you some relief in the meantime till you go see someone. Okay, so that's the soapbox for today. Happy hip dipping, and we'll see you next time.